You look at the last 40, 50 years of the tech industry, every decade or so, the computing interface has changed. The way we interact with computers to do various things, right? So in the mid to late 80s, with the rise of the PC revolution, we came up with the desktop metaphor, right? So you had desktop PCs and desktop operating system on which you download desktop applications, right? So if you had a gaming app or a banking app, you download it, use it, spreadsheet, PowerPoint, and so on. And then in the mid 90s, the whole paradigm changed. It didn't matter what PC you had. You just use a browser to go visit any website that you like. So now you'd go to a gaming website, a banking website, an e-commerce website, and so on, right? And then yet again, in the mid 2000s, with the rise of the small screen devices, smartphones, and so on, we moved to yet another paradigm, this time about mobile OS and mobile apps, right? You download the same mobile game, the banking app, commerce app, and so on. Now, in the mid-teens, we are on the verge of yet another major transition, this time from mobile apps to messaging and chatbots, right? So users can just use their messaging chatbot, their messaging app, and instead of downloading an app, can go talk to a banking chatbot, an e-commerce chatbot, as the case may be. And the reason why it's happening, like I said, is the messaging app is by far the most popular app on mobile devices. The frequency and intensity of usage is incredibly high, far greater than any other kind of app. So the other advantage is you don't, when you interact with a chatbot, it's natural. It's just like chatting with a friend or family member. There's no download required, which is another, people are hesitant to download various apps onto their device. Most users have no more than, use no more than a dozen or 2 dozen apps on a consistent basis. But we all interact with far more brands and businesses than that, right? So clearly, chatbots are much easier to adopt. They are natural, they're intuitive, it's conversational. Humans like to converse, right? If you think about all the prior paradigms, right? If you think about desktop apps, websites, or mobile apps, they all required people to behave like computers, right? You have to go to, page number 2, click button number 3, and then something happens. But with conversational interfaces, now you have computers behaving like people, right? Figuring out natural language, responding to human queries in human ways, and so on. So suddenly, it's a much more natural, intuitive, human way of interaction than sort of the structured, scripted computer way of interaction. So there are many benefits why that can be derived from it. But quite simply, consumer behavior and what consumer preferences are driving this shift to from mobile apps to consumer experiences, to conversational experiences, right? And I think the only thing I'll say is conversational experience they don't have to completely substitute apps. I'm not predicting the death of apps by any stretch. You still have desktop applications, right? Spreadsheets and PowerPoint, presentation apps are usually desktop apps. There are still many websites that we use for many purposes. There are still going to be mobile apps, right? But these conversational experiences open up newer capabilities and will take over a lot more of the interactions. And you can see this from the growing popularity of Amazon Alexa and voice assistants and so on. So we are seeing this trend, and we are figuring out newer things to do, easier ways to do it, becomes more convenient, and so on. So I think, just like television didn't kill radio, you just listen to it more in the car as opposed to all the time. You're going to have the same thing where whenever new technology comes in, it displaces the old technology for areas that it's better at. And I think so at this point in time, I mean, the growth opportunity with chatbots is huge. I think every business has to be considering how to incorporate it into their portfolio of capability.